Hello, so my name is Genesis Ligo, and this is my religion video presentation from Chapter 9's Shinto. Now, on my first slide, I do have a Shinto timeline, which we will be going over a little bit more in depth as we continue on with my PowerPoint. Now, we're going to start off with the teachings of Shinto. Shinto, meaning the way of the gods, is Japan's oldest religious tradition, centered on the worship of kami, meaning spiritual beings or forces. The term emerged to distinguish it from Buddhism. Shinto has no founder, specific origin date, or central holy book. Instead, its beliefs are rooted in ancient texts like the Kojiki and the Nihon Shoki, which outline early kami worship, but are not treated as doctrinal scriptures, meaning that these writings are not treated the way that, for example, Christians would treat the Bible or Muslims would treat the Quran. Shinto is mainly a ritual tradition focused on honoring the kami, meaning that they mainly focus on honoring spiritual beings and forces in the world. Now, the Kojiki tells the Shinto creation story, beginning with the divine kami and the godly couple Izangi and Izamini, who create the Japanese islands and nature deities through symbolic union. After Izanami dies, Izanagi's purification ritual becomes the basis for Shinto cleansing practices. Their children include the sun goddess Amaterasu and the moon god Tsunami and the storm god Susanoo. Please excuse me for not knowing how to pronounce the names correctly. Now, conflict between Amaterasu and Susanoo leads to darkness and restoration, symbolizing balance and renewal. Amaterasu's descendant Ninigi is sent to rule Japan, receiving regular, sacred regalia, which means a mirror, a sword, and jewel, as symbols of divine authority. His grandson, Emperor Jimmu, becomes Japan's first emperor, linking the imperial family to divine origins. Key Shinto themes include the sacredness of nature, purification, fertility, feminine power, and the unity of religion and imperial rule, with little emphasis on moral absolute. Now, Shinto centers on kami, the sacred spirits in nature and extraordinary humans. Kami can be kind or dangerous, so worship involves gratitude and seeking protection. Nature is seen as a divine presence in Japan and is viewed as a land created by kami. Humans sharing divine origins are expected to honor and celebrate the kami's blessing. Shinto emphasizes fertility, seen in the creation myth where divine beings produce land and gods. Purification is equally important as death, disease, and blood are viewed as spiritually polluting. Ritual cleansing rooted in Izanagi's actions is essential before approaching the kami. This forces this focus shapes shrine practices and priestly duties. Shinto myths highlight the significant role of woman, with the sun goddess Amaterasu as both the central deity and the ancestor of Japan's imperial line. Early Shinto featured powerful female shamans like Amino Uzumi and Tamayori Hime. Empress Jingu was a shaman and a military leader later worshipped as the war kami Hachiman. Despite later patriarchy, women held spiritual and political influence in ancient Shinto. Now, Shinto is deeply tied to Japan's imperial family, believed to descend from the sun goddess Amaterasu. Early emperors held both religious and political authority, with governance seen as ritual practice. Therefore, there was no separation between the religion and the state. A connection later shaped state Shinto. So meaning that that connection later did shape state Shinto. So there is no separation between religion and state practices and political views, especially during this time in Japan. Now, Shinto history has three periods. Ancient, ending before the 6th century, and it formed under the Yamato rule. The medieval century, which was around the 6th and 13th centuries, marked by blending with Buddhism and Confucianism, which I do have a video on Confucianism too. When it became a state religion, it adapted to post-World War II religious diversity. Now, Shinto focuses on ritual over doctrine, with practices like shrine visits, festivals, and purification helping people connect with the kami. Beliefs are often expressed through actions rather than understood intellectually, making participation more important than formal religious knowledge. Meaning, one thing about Shinto and why I chose this religion was because it is very popular in anime, which we will be talking about that a little more as we continue with the slide. And we'll talk about how popular it has become and how important it is. Now, Shinto emphasizes fertility and it celebrates it through seasonal rituals like spring planting festivals and fall harvest celebration. These involve honoring the kami with dances, offerings, and processions. The emperor, seen as a descendant of Amaterasu, traditionally led these rites, especially in the Dao Josei, affirming his spiritual and political rule. Despite modern challengers, these rituals remain key to Shinto as a lived tradition. So even now, these traditions are still going on in modern Japan, meaning that they're still worshiping um, the shrines and they're still having these fall festivals and things. Now, in Shinto, purification rituals are called hare and are performed to cleanse people, objects, or places to please the kami. Priests use wands, water, or salt in these rituals, which are common before events like moving into a new home or starting a new job. Practices like misogi and salt sprinkling are also key. Even in sumo and everyday life, such as funerals and storefronts, reflect these purification traditions, showing Shinto's focus on purity in all aspects of life. And that is something that we do see a lot in, the entertainment and movies based off of Japan anime and things like that. Now, in addition to worship at local, regional, and major national shrines, many Japanese also maintain miniature shrines at home for easy and ready access to the kami, known as kamidana, which it means a deity shelf or family altar. It has many components of an actual shrine. The home shrine is usually hung on a wall or placed on a shelf above eye level. The kami worshipped is often the deity of a local shrine or that of a household profession. Daily simple prayers are offered, such as fruit, water, and rice. Now here, we will go through some of the celebrations celebrated by those who are practicing in Shinto, being the new year, which is on January 1st. Usually, what they do during this time is they clean the homes, they visit the shrines, they clean the temples and the shrines, they greet their relatives. And Setsuban, which is on February 3rd, it's practiced to throw beans to chase the demons away and invite good fortune. Now, the doll festival is held on March 3rd, and it celebrates women and girls. And they display beautiful, elaborate court-sized dolls, meaning human-sized dolls dressed up beautifully as women to celebrate women. Boys' Day is on May the 5th, and it celebrates boys and men's health. And they display warrior dolls and carp steamers. The Tanabata is on July 7th, and this is the Star-Crossed Lovers Festival. And what they do is they build crafts, and it's hopeful, women get together and the girls, and they hope for marriage, things like that. Now, the Alban is on July 14th, and it is a Buddhist ancestral festival where graves are clean. They make bonfires, they dance, and they give offerings to the kami and the spirits. The Nininame Sai is held on November 23rd, which is the rice harvest, and which can also be is like our Thanksgiving, which the emperor offers rice to the kami, and it's now known as the Labor Thanksgiving Day. Now, Shinto engaging with the world. Shinto is practiced informally in Japan through cultural preparation, with beliefs in kami shaping views on nature, community, ethics, and the afterlife. Its modern influence is seen in anime, I guess I should guys earlier, pilgrimages, where fans are currently going out there to travel to visit the shrines featured in anime, blending pop culture with spiritual practice. There are over 30 shrines that have become anime pilgrimages. Mind you, I'm a huge anime fan, and I'm one of those that I want to go visit some of those shrines, especially for Kimi no Dua. And this has nothing to do with the shrines, but I want to go to the Naruto part. Okay. Now, in Shinto, what is the ultimate reality? Now, according to Shinto, the world is a sanctified place divinely created by the kami. The kami reveal themselves in living and non-living things, in nature and in the human world. They're responsible for the fertility of the world, and they prefer purity and cleanliness. Humans, some who are the kami themselves, must pay constant attention to their relationship with the kami, for that is the only way that life can be fulfilled. Because the world is the creation of the kami, humanity is obligated to maintain the world's sanctuary by acting as a guardian and a caretaker. Shinto practitioners are extremely sentimental about nature and are easily moved by its beauty. Many Japanese literary writers and authors express that Shinto affirmation of the divine and sanctified nature of the world, meaning that taking care of our earth, being clean, not polluting it, is so important in Shinto. Now, in Shinto, how should we live in this? Now, original Shinto places little emphasis on mortality or ethical living. There is no revealed moral code. Instead, it teaches right living primarily as fertile and pure living. The human condition is defined more in terms of purity and defilement. Death, blood, and improper food and improper behaviors are sources of contamination that makes human unfit to interact with the kami. However, these are temporary conditions. Constant attention to maintaining cleanliness and purity will ensure favor from the deities. As a result, Shinto practitioners meticulously perform rituals of purification and sanctification, and sanctification in order to seek good interaction with the kami. Now, what is our ultimate purpose? Unlike several other religions, Shinto does not perceive the human condition as a fallen state or tainted by sin. Very similar to, I believe, Confucianism. You guys can watch that video. Humans are therefore not evil by nature. Thus there is no need for salvation or transcendence. At the same time, Shinto has no belief in an almighty, benevolent God who has made humans in an initial state of perfection. Humans are therefore not good by nature either. Instead, humans are very much a part of nature, striving to live in harmony with it through interaction with its various spiritual manifestations, which is the kami. Now we are going to be wrapping it up and we're going to go over some key terms, which we're going to start with Amaterasu, which is the kami who shines in the sky. She is that beautiful female woman deity that is very important in Shintoism. The kami is the spirits. That is the spirits that lives in everything, in the rivers, in the mountains, in the trees, in us. That is a ritual tradition that focuses on existence. The Norito is the word spoken to the kami. The Jinja is the dwelling place of the kami, and Tori is the bird dwelling, which I chose that one because I love birds. I have two birds. Now, on this page, I'm going to provide a paragraph. I'm going to talk a little bit about what I found interesting. And I guess one of the things I found most interesting about Shinto was the importance of nature. The belief that the kami resides in the trees, the rivers, the mountains, and even the wind, that was very meaningful to me. The importance of harmony between nature and humans is important, especially right now in our current age. That was something that stuck out the most for me because I love being outside. I love the trees. I love being in nature. I'm the kind of person that I love to go to the beach by my house and I'll just go sit there and stare at the water. It's healing, it's beautiful. And when it comes to Shinto and reading about this religion, that's what I caught on to, and that's what I fell in love with the most. And alrighty, so that is all I have. Thank you.